So guys, here's the moment of truth. God of War 3, will it work? Let's find out. Yo, what's up guys, it's ApTreX here. Today we'll be trying out your favorite God of War PS3 games on RPCS3 emulator on an Android device. Now I have made a video couple of days ago talking about how you can actually run the original RPCS3 PS3 emulator on your Android devices using the Mobox Windows emulator. We literally managed to run an emulator inside of an emulator, and for today's video I have loaded lot of games, but we'll be only testing out God of War games as we completed 250 likes on our previous video. Before starting, if you guys are new here, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on all notification as I upload similar videos on my channel. And if you want me to test out lot of PS3 games on RPCS3 emulator Android, then let's hit 200 likes on today's video. With that being said, let's get started. Alright guys, to start off, let me show you the emulator which we'll be using. As I mentioned before, we are using the Mobox emulator, but not the WoW 64 version, but the basic Mobox emulator which uses Box 86. And let me also show you guys the DynaRX settings which we are running for the best amount of performance even when we try to emulate an emulator inside of an emulator, if you know what I mean. Anyways, let's tap on the cancel button. We are using preset 45, so let's just go ahead and start one, and I'll be also showing you guys the version of RPCS3 which will be running for today's video. But the graphics driver as well as DXVK version which we are running is DXVK Asynchronous 1.10.3 as well as Turnip Sync version 4. Anyways, there we go. I have successfully launched the RPCS3 emulator, and just take a look at how many games I have added for testing. Now I haven't tried any of these games out personally, I have just loaded them on RPCS3 emulator, but if this video reaches 200 likes, I'll be testing out almost 15 plus PS3 titles, very popular PS3 titles on the RPCS3 emulator version 0.0.6. so make sure to note this version because this is the best working build of RPCS3 emulator on an Windows emulator for Android. Let me also scroll down and show you guys that we have Sonic CD Trial, Iron Man demo, God of War Ascension which we'll be testing out today, Gran Turismo, God of War 3 which we'll be also testing out, FIFA 11, Dead Space 2, Dragon Ball Z Burst, Call of Duty, Batman Arkham Asylum, and yeah, that's about it for now. I'll be adding couple more games for our next testing, so be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on all notification. Let me show you guys the best settings if you want to run RPCS3 emulator on Android with amazing frame rates. Now this is an very old build of RPCS3, the version 0.0.06 which we are using, and it cannot really support all these games, but I'm pretty sure some of them should work, low-end titles like we tried out with Sonic CD. Anyways, the PPU decoder should be recompiler, SPU decoder should be interpreter. Let's head on over to graphics. OpenGL is the renderer which we'll be using. Resolution is set to 1920 by 1080, and we'll be using the D3D adapter as Turnip Adreno 740 which is the GPU driver. Anyways, aspect ratio is 16:9, and make sure to untick all of these options. By default, if you set up this version of RPCS3 on your Android device, then you'll need to untick all of these options, and then only it should be playable. So what are we waiting for? Let's just go ahead and scroll down and try out God of War 3 E3 demo 2009 PS3 title on RPCS3 emulator Android. And by the way, this is the logbook. If a game doesn't work, then you will get an log or the reason why it didn't work, and I am using demo version of all the games. You will also need to import the .pkg into RPCS3 emulator if you want to test out your own versions of games. Anyways, we just tapped on the boot option, and there are some logs here and there. I don't know what it means, but basically it's saying that there is an PPU interpreter problem. So let me just go ahead and try changing the PPU interpreter and then check out if our game starts or not. So let's try using the PPU decoder as interpreter. Afterwards, just go ahead and tap on the OK button, and now let's try restarting God of War 3 2009, and this time we still got the PPU interpreter error. I think God of War 3 doesn't work with this version of RPCS3 emulator. It was supported, I guess, in the later builds. I'm pretty sure that there is one new build of RPCS3 emulator which is running on Mobox emulator. If you want me to cover that, then be sure to hit that subscribe button. Now let's head on over to God of War Ascension and see if this game actually works on the RPCS3 emulator. I have just gone and tapped on the boot option. Let's wait for a few seconds, and here in the log it's saying function PPU interpreter, so it's still giving us an interpreter issue. I think we'll need to switch back to the recompiler PPU decoder which we set as the best setting. Now let's just go ahead and tap on the OK button, and now try reopening God of War Ascension. And this time I think there is a different error, but yeah, God of War games do not work on this version of RPCS3 emulator Android. Anyways, right here I have opened Sonic CD to see how well does it actually perform. If you have seen my last video, then you know I was literally getting hundreds of FPS while emulating this small PS3 title on my Android device. It's not really small, but compared to God of War 3 it is a bit small, but I am pretty sure if we try out the newer versions of RPCS3 emulator, God of War 3 should 100% work. But if you try the latest build of RPCS3 emulator on Mobox emulator, then it doesn't work. Only few select builds work, so we'll need to research more about it. Anyways, I have initialized the input bridge for on-screen touch controls. Anyways guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, turn on all notification as I upload similar videos on my channel, and I'll see you guys next time when we'll test out some more titles on RPCS3 Emulator Android, and we'll be testing out these titles in bulk. So almost 15 to 20 games will be tested. So stay up to date. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.